In this, my 10th IB Myositis video for Inclusion Body Myositis YouTube viewers, I'm going to answer the 12 most popular questions that I've received from you, my viewers. So let's get started. My wife and caregiver will be asking some of the questions that I received during my first 9 IB Myositis videos. Go ahead, Cindy.
Question number 1. I notice you do not like to use the foot plates on your power chair. Why?
Thank you for that question. As I can no longer safely reach down and pull up on the foot plates on my power chair, I find it easier to leave them in the up position and place my feet on top of the front wheelchair caster mounts. At the same time, I slightly tilt my chair back a little to make it easier and more comfortable to rest my feet on top of the front casters. By doing this, I also simplify getting on and off my power chair and my chances of not tripping over them or onto them.
Question number 2. You received this question from 3 viewers. Does a high CK level mean I have IBM?
No, not necessarily. CK, or sometimes referred to as CPK, are measurements in your blood test that could indicate many different things. But in regards to IBM, the higher the normal CK level usually indicates the destruction of muscle cells has recently or is taking place. When muscle cells are destroyed, CK is released into the bloodstream. A primary care physician might also refer you to see a cardiologist, as elevated CK levels are also present when people have heart attacks. A stroke or other brain injury could also cause your CK levels to be high.
Question number 3. As a follow-up to a response to the previous question, if my CK levels return to the normal range, is my IBM in remission?
Probably not. Some people diagnosed with IBM never see their CK or CPK levels above normal. If you have elevated CK levels and it has returned to the normal range, it could indicate one of 2 things. That your muscles are so depleted that there is no more significant muscle mass to be lost, your CK level may fall back into the normal range, or your body is in what many IBMers call a plateau, in that muscle destruction has temporarily slowed down, resulting in less CK being released into the bloodstream.
Question number 4. If diagnosed with sporadic IBM, does this mean my children will get IBM too?
From what I can gather, the answer to that question is probably no. Sporadic IBM might be in all of us, but what the medical community has failed to yet identify is what might be the element that triggers IBM within us to be activated. It is possible that the unlocking of that bit of information will go a long ways towards remedying a cause and a cure for IBM.
Question number 5. A couple of viewers asked, I am starting to suffer the effects of dysphasia. If a piece of food or pill gets stuck in my throat, is there an easy way to clear it?
A long time ago, a Facebook IBM poster gave some advice that I have found to work for me. If I feel that a small morsel of food or a pill is trapped in my throat, I immediately lower my chin as low to my chest as possible and try to swallow the trapped morsel. If that doesn't work, I then rotate my head towards my left shoulder while my chin is lowered and try to swallow again. This I found is known as the chin tuck maneuver. You can research chin tuck maneuver on the internet or YouTube it to get additional information. Caution: if a small morsel of food gets stuck in your throat when eating and you still have other food in your mouth, you might want to spit out the food still in your mouth, as you do not want to add to the obstruction in your throat's passageway. I usually have a large plastic cup on the table just in case this happens.
Question number 6. What are some good stretching exercises a person with IBM can do from a power chair or lift chair?
I think I know what caused this question to be asked. Many physical therapists that make exercise movies for IBMers have only been exposed to those recently diagnosed. Therefore, they can still walk, possibly run, perhaps still doing stairs, lower and raise themselves to and from the floor level, and perhaps can even get up from a regular height chair. Anyone in the more advanced stage of IBM can't do any of these things. I do a few exercises from my power chair and would be happy to share them with you. I think I'll make a separate video on just that subject. Thanks for asking.
Question number 7. What is the most popular power chair for a person advancing in IBM?
I don't think the brand or model of power chairs selected for the IBMer is as important as the features the chair has. Of course, before selecting a power chair, the IBMer should always consider purchasing one that includes an elevating seat, a feature that is not usually covered by Medicare. Since Medicare and other insurance companies will only purchase a power chair every 5 years or so, it is important always to think ahead of what you will need in that time frame. Persons that cannot afford the $2,000 to $3,000 for a seat elevator option, as Medicare and some insurances may not pay for, it might be wise to source a used power chair with a seat elevator from a private party advertising on Craigslist or eBay, or contact your local Muscular Dystrophy Association office for assistance. I have a couple of videos on my IB Myositis YouTube channel that cover a lot of option decisions that a IBMer should consider when purchasing a power chair.
Question number 8. What new IBM research is in the pipeline?
Wow, that's a loaded and very involved question, one that I'm not probably qualified to answer. Skeletal muscle cells are the most abundant type in our bodies. These skeletal muscle fibers attach to our bones and allow movement in our joints. It's always a problem with the presence of activated mutant T cells surrounding healthy muscle fibers. The problem in IBM seems to be centered around the existence of bad or mutated T cells that are not automatically eliminated by our immune system. When the bad or mutated T cells finally die and not replaced by new healthy cells, the result is a weaker muscle. I've read that there are research labs that are attempting to develop a new class of immune biotherapeutics for treating the autoimmunity associated within IBM. This is not to develop a drug that will directly attack a mutated IBM muscular cell, but one that will instruct the immune system to fight away mutated cells that stick around and cause muscle atrophy. And we all know what muscle atrophy, that it's a huge problem in IBM.
Question number 9. With IBM, is there usually more atrophy in the arms or in the legs?
In the journey of IBM, legs and arms are both usually atrophied. But because there is more muscle mass and muscle structure in our upper legs, the IBMer will usually first notice more of a physical size change to his or her bicep and forearm areas in the arms than in the quad muscles of the legs. Not to be outdone by the bicep muscles, the quad muscles will continue to shrink over time.
Question number 10. Jerry, you advocate for 3 defined stages for identifying people with IBM. What do you see as the benefits of labeling IBMers within one of the 3 stages?
I believe it's important for insurance companies, medical professionals, physical therapists, and even government regulators making durable medical equipment decisions to know the different severity levels of this horrible disease. As stated in one of my earlier IB Myositis YouTube videos, people identified as having IBM are usually known only in the early stages. If other people associate IBM lives with only those in the early stages, the severity of the disease is minimized. IBM is a long process spanning over a decade, possibly 2 decades in length for the person who has it. Categorizing people into 3 stages of IBM simply using Dr. Barone's functional rating scale could help differentiate between the various degrees of life difficulties associated with the long-term effects of this disease. A condition of an IBM patient described as IBM Stage 3 on a medical or insurance referral would tell a much better story than describing the patient as just having inclusion body myositis.
Question number 11. What dietary concerns have you followed on your IBM journey?
I'm not sure if I ever stated this before, but I've lost about 100 pounds since being diagnosed with IBM in 2007. Some of this weight loss was intentional, as I considered the needs of my caregiver to be able to assist me better if I weighed a lot less. Just prior to being diagnosed with IBM, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I believe the diabetes medicine that I was put on helped with some of the weight reduction that I experienced. My fight not to let diabetes put me in any further dire straits has paid off. My A1C numbers are way down, and the medication level has been reduced to just a very small amount. Since reducing diabetic meds, my weight has more or less stabilized, but my arms and legs have atrophied so far that further weight loss from muscle atrophy alone might be minimal. I've also eliminated most of the gluten from my diet for the past 5 years, which I'm quite sure helped with the weight reduction.
Question number 12. Jerry, in your first IB Myositis video, you featured the Liftware Level eating device. How has that been working for you, and was it worth the money?
I purchased the Liftware Level a little over 10 months ago, and I've used it multiple times each day since. During the original purchase, I have also purchased a pair of forks and another second spoon attachment. Lately, I've been experiencing strength issues in my right arm and have switched using the Liftware Level to my left hand. Although it's been a great tool for an IBMer to use to get food to his mouth, there is one drawback that I've learned since owning it. Because of the self-leveling feature, you can't turn the fork on its side and use it for slicing anything. But I'm sure that not being able to slice anything using the side of the fork attachment also protects the inner workings of this magnificent tool from being damaged due to side loading. Yes, I think this device was well worth the money. Well, that was the top 12 questions that I received during my first 9 IB Myositis videos. I hope that you enjoy watching these videos as much as I enjoy producing them. It's getting much more difficult for me to do these videos, but as long as I can find a workable solution, I will continue making them for you, my viewing audience. Remember to promote the Catalyze the Cure Foundation with all your friends and family, and please hint that they could donate towards this very important cause to support finding a cure for IBM, whether for you or for your coming generations. Stay strong, my friends. Good day.